Hi, Hava from Nettles and Pins. Today's a really nice day here in Israel, sunny after some really cold, windy days. So it's a perfect day for an herb walk. I'm going to take you out and you'll see what's starting to grow here in Israel. Now this is the southern part, so in the north we have lots of other varieties, but what we have down here in the south I'm very thankful for because they're so medicinal and helpful in our family and keeping everyone healthy. We just went through a bout of flu or cold or whatever you want to call it, and we got through it in a couple days. Lots of tea, lots of vitamin C, lots of these weeds that go into our smoothies and our salads. Smoothies my favorite way to get them into kids because they are bitter, like wild mustard and mallow. They're very bitter, and that's hard for kids to eat in the beginning. So I put them in their smoothies. They don't know they're there. It's with bananas and berries, and they just drink it every day without complaint. So I know they're getting chlorophyll in their diet, and it's just a great way to get extra vitamins, minerals, incredible energy. These plants, because they're wild, as they're tough, they can handle drought and disease and pests and anything that comes their way. And then when we eat them, as we get all of that wonderful energy and nutrition and chlorophyll and everything else that comes along with them. So let's go see what's growing already. So this is a small moringa tree. I've got really big ones, but this one happened to come up in the garden. The thing about moringa is that it's filled. Each leaf is so filled with chlorophyll, vitamin C, potassium, iron, calcium. It's just this incredibly nutritious leaf, and you can put it in salads, smoothie, make it as a tea. It comes dried, powdered. All of these medicines, weeds that I'll be walking around with can be eaten fresh in a salad, soup, ground up into a pesto or into a salsa. It doesn't matter, just to get them in there. However you can get them in there, trick everyone along the way, the family, the kids, as long as they're eating it. It's good that they know what's there, but if they don't want to, they're not so happy about it. So it's good to hide it in there. And that way they get so much nutrition and they don't even know. Okay, so this is ashwagandha. It's a very large bush that I have growing here. It's been here at least a year. The thing is, in the very beginning, a lot of these things I planted. Other things have grown from the beginning by themselves. But even the things that I planted many years ago, I just let their seeds fall. And then year after year, they replant themselves and become a wild plant. Sometimes they grow where there's not even a watering system. They just grow from the rains and finding their own strength and their own water source. So the root is all the way on the bottom. This is going to be a very big one. And you follow the root and follow the root, and this root is amazing for anxiety. It calms people down. People who sort of suffer from this all the time. They're worried about this or worried about that. They wake up worried. They go to bed worried. They can't sleep because they're worried. As ashwagandha puts all that to rest. A lot of people take it fresh for anxiety. Also, an energy herb gives lots of energy throughout the day, so that at the end of the day, you don't feel so exhausted and tired out. It just continues conserving the energy throughout the day so that in the end you haven't spent it all. Wild mustard plant. Mustard can be used, everyone knows the seeds, right? The seeds that we make mustard out of, mustard on hamburgers and whatever we use them for. So they have that too. That'll be the end of the winter more when the seeds come out. But again, I just let them fall, and then they replant themselves with the next rain. So this is the leaf. It has thorns on, not thorns, but little needles on it, so it's kind of hard to touch sometimes. As a poultice, just putting it over a wound draws in the red blood cells so that they are brought to the area with the oxygen, with the nutrients. They start clotting and healing really fast. So if it's anything, if it's a bruise or a cut or a scrape or whatever, as this is really, really good just to put over it. You can also put a little hot water if it's maybe dried. Again, I use them dried also. And then it can be wetted down with some hot water and put over the area as a poultice. As a green, I put it in smoothies, salads, soups. It gives a bite. It's kind of a little spicy, so you got to be careful with it for the kids, but it gets so much into them that they don't know. And this is an amazing herb just to have all winter long, really. That's when we use it. And then for the summer months, I will have been collecting all of these. We eat whatever's fresh, and then whatever's extra, I'll dry and put into glass jars, and I'll keep it in the kitchen so that I always have it, or for medicine, or for food, or poultices, or baths, a lot of baths. So here I have dandelion plant. These are the leaves. It looks like a shark's tooth. In Hebrew, it's called shen aryeh, which means lion's tooth. So these are the plants. Sometimes you see them on the sides of the roads. They have the little balls that you can blow and make a wish. So that's dandelion. Before they turn to those little fluffy balls, as there's a flower, sometimes yellow, sometimes white, depending on the species. And those are also edible. You can put them on salads. They make things look really pretty. But this is an amazing liver cleanser. It will just go in and support the liver and clean it out, as well as the blood. Great chlorophyll as well. This is something that should be in everyone's diet, at least during the winter months when it's just everywhere. The leaves are edible, the flowers are edible, the stalks are edible, and the root, which is at the end of the winter, I dig up the root. So the root is anti-cancer. It's got so many amazing properties. Worth it to find it wild wherever you find it growing. Dig it up when it's time. Even the smallest piece, I'll take it and I'll dry them, make tea out of them, dry them. You can grow it. Like I said, these were actually wild, but many of them. So once the seeds, just let them drop, let them fall. Next winter they'll replant themselves, and then you'll have it every year. And so the end of that season, you'll want to dig up the root and have it and keep it and make tea out of it. And then the tea I'll put in the smoothies. So that way, that's the water that I put into the smoothies. Here I have mallow. Mallow is also just an incredible medicine for sores, bruises, anything. It's great as a poultice. It's great as a leaf to add to the lettuce, salads, to cook with it, put it in smoothies. My favorite way of getting things into people. You can eat all of this plant. The root, as well as the leaves, soothe mucous membranes. So if you have a sore throat or any digestive problems where it's the mucous membranes of the intestinal lining, that whole kind of thing, it's very soothing. I make a tea out of it. This is the original marshmallow, right? So they would take the water, the tea from the root, and mix it. So now when we make natural marshmallows, that's the water part that I use, because it's very thickening and just what you would think of as a marshmallow. So this is wild lettuce. Down here you can see all of these leaves. They also sort of look like some kind of a tooth. This wild lettuce is amazing for pain. It's better, or as well as aspirin or any kind of pain relief. Okay, so this is what I call Juliet's garden. This is my little herb garden, apart from my other vegetable and herb garden. This is where I have my clinic, and I make all kinds of teas and things for the people who come here. One of them that we'll start with is rosemary. Everyone has heard of rosemary, knows rosemary. It's great for the memory, and it's antibacterial, antifungal, great for tea, great for opening up the respiratory, the chest, coughs, sniffles. Okay, we went through this a few days ago, and this is what I use the drops of oil and have tea sort of bubbling on the stove all the time, so that it's diffusing the smell of it throughout the air in the house. It cleans up the air. This is medicinal lavender. I put that together with sage, and then I'll make a smudge, actually all three of them together, and I'll make a smudge and burn it inside the clinic or inside the house, and it just cleans it from bad energy, maybe after all this cold and flu season, cleans up the air, makes it really healthy again to breathe, and brings in a new fresh energy. Favorites is lemongrass, right? This is used in anti-cancer protocols. It's wonderful to just make a tea from it. It's great for the skin and the hair also, so I put it in my cosmetics. Lemongrass is a wonderful one to just have around. It's very mild. This is Tulsi. This is a kind of basil, as you can see by the flowers. It as an adaptogen and as a tonic. So you might wake up in the morning and drink this first thing. It sort of balances you out, keeps you even keel, gives you energy throughout the day. Tulsi is just great. This is aloe vera. I have lots and lots of aloe vera because I use it for so many things. Aloe vera is great internally as well as externally. I will break off a piece of it and peel it and use the gel in a smoothie, in a bath, in tea, in lemonade, as many times as you can get it in. It's great for the skin, making a peeling or any kind of moisturizers. It's just so healing. Some serious burns before, and it just heals up everything very quickly. So the reason I call it Juliet's Garden is after Juliette de Barclay-Lévy. She was a gypsy, an herbalist, a traveler many years ago, and she lived here in Israel for a while, and she wrote books about it. Israel was included in one or two of her books. She helped me and many other herbalists really embrace the whole idea of plant as medicine. In Hebrew it's called Sheba. It's in the family of wormwood. Wormwood is also great for diabetics, can balance out the blood sugar, kills viruses, bacteria, and parasites. It's anti-cancer. This herb is so amazing. It's very bitter, but bitter is actually good, even though it's sort of hard to take in the beginning. So that's some of my garden. Again, some of it I planted, some of it grows wild, and some I planted and then became wild. So however it is that you can get it in, whether you grow it in pots, on a rooftop, on a balcony, you go foraging for it in the forest. That's the best thing ever, right? If you have a forest, that you can do that. If you can find a spot where you see dandelions growing or mallow and you know it hasn't been sprayed, the roadside, getting all the car fumes and that kind of thing, which is why forests are so great. But any kind of a field that's far from all of that, wherever you can find it, put it in your food. However you can, as much as you can. It just builds your immune system so that it's strong all year long. We don't want to wait until the winter comes and then catch everything there under the sun. Keep your immune system strong throughout the year, and then you're pretty balanced. We catch things, that's not a big deal, it's part of being human, but it doesn't hit us so hard, and we recover really quickly, and then we'll only get like one thing, throughout the year rather than one after the other from all these different sources. Our immune systems are strong. I want that for everyone. It's so easy. As long as there's a source of water, even if it's just the rain, the medicine in them is just so powerful. The great energy that they're giving us is just amazing. Your smoothies, as a powder, as a tea, whatever it is, there's so many more. I just wanted to give you an example of a few that are growing around here and how I use them as medicine to keep us healthy all year long. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time.